Peace and power, my resistors. This is Imam Issa Mateen and the resistance. I want to deal with this issue of Zakatul Fitr. In Islam, we're taught, and I'm just going to summarize. In Islam, we're taught that at the end of Ramadan, we are supposed to give some food and charity to the poor. What I'm noticing is that in most cities, the masjids and the imams are telling people to give $25, $20, $15 per family member. So a man is responsible for everybody in his family. So if a man has, let's say, a wife and 3 children, which is pretty common, 3 or 4 children, you're telling him, if you tell him to pay $25 a person, you're talking about $100, $150 per family. Philadelphia is a city of poor people. 50% of the people in the city live in poverty, and 50% of the people are on food stamps. So you're talking about the poor feeding the poor. So what happens is a lot of people, they feel like they can't pay Zakatul Fitr because the masjids and the imams are telling them you got to pay $25 for everybody in your family. You got to pay $20 for everybody in your family. You got to pay $15 for everybody in your family. And so they don't pay it. So the Zakatul Fitr has 2 purposes. One is to alleviate any faults that you had during the fasting. Maybe you lost your temper. Maybe you was a little bit lazy with your prayer. It's to alleviate, make up for any faults, and also to make sure everybody has a nice meal. You're making sure everybody at least has a nice meal when they come out for Eid. But if you make people feel like they can't afford Zakatul Fitr, then they're not paying it. So what is the real Zakatul Fitr? The real amount that the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, said is that for every person, you pay what's called a sa'. In Arabic, it's called a sa'. A sa' is equal to 4 mud. A mud is 1 scoop with 2 hands of food, basically. 1 scoop with 2 hands of food. So a sa' is 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. The weight will vary depending upon the food type. So dates weigh more than raisins. Raisins may weigh more than oatmeal. So it depends on the weight. When you tell someone they gotta pay $25, $20 per person, that's just not true. Okay, so if a person, for instance, bought some cereal, right? Because it's supposed to be, the Zakatul Fitr is supposed to be common food stuff that people eat. Like traditionally, you see they'll say, give the Zakatul Fitr in wheat or barley. Well, nobody really uses wheat and barley too much in our society. You give somebody a pound of wheat, some barley, they don't know what to do with it, really. So we give something that people use, rice or flour. In my case, I like to use cereal because children like cereal. I like to use cereal because the children love that. So I just bought Zakatul Fitr for about 10 people, right? And look what I got. Let's put the camera right here. Look what I got. I got 200 ounces of cereal, right? Children are gonna love this. 200 ounces of cereal, right? And it cost, I forget what it cost, but it certainly wasn't $25 a piece, okay? Now, if you wanna give more, give more. You may say, well, I wanna give more than that. Then do it. If you wanna give everybody $100 for everybody in your family, do it. That's okay. What I'm talking about is the people who are poor. You're asking poor people to feed poor people. For the bare minimum, is we got to stick to what the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, is a sa'. A sa' is basically, in terms of cereal, you're talking about 16 ounces of cereal. This is a sa'. This is more than a sa'. This is more than a sa'. That's one person's. This is one person's Zakatul Fitr. So, if you want to pay more, pay more. But don't let the imams or the masjids make you think you have to pay $25 a piece for everybody in your family, $15 a piece. You can do that if you want. But the prophetic method is food, and it is so simple, and everybody can participate in that, right? You don't ask the poor to feed the poor. So I hope I simplified that a little bit. This is Imam Isa Mateen and the Resistance. Peace and power.